Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in today's video, I know you have got a secret, hidden, awkward space in your home that maybe needs a little bit of help, and living rooms are some of the absolute worst. We're gonna have a look at a couple of spaces that are super weird and awkward, and I'm gonna show you how we can fix that with a furniture layout. And if you have an awkward space and I didn't feature it in this video, sorry honey, but maybe you'll get a part 2, and be sure you share with me what you think of these spaces and the layouts I come up with. Now the first space, it looks really good. And you're probably looking at it like, it's literally massive. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, where's the awkwardness in it? Well, the awkwardness in it comes from the flow, comes from the doorways in this space, and it changes the way the furniture layout can be used, can be done, and where we can put things. So have a look at this view of the space and have a look at this other view. You can see there's a kitchen off of it and we have a second doorway here. Also, what makes this space awkward is the intended use of it. This is a family room and there's supposed to be a TV above the fireplace. We'll address that. But that makes it awkward and difficult to put furniture, because if you have a television that high, you have to have your sofa pretty far away from it so that you actually can see it comfortably. Or if you have a recliner, you have to have it kind of closer to it so you can see it comfortably, which just makes all of this super awkward. Let's start with a flow chart of this space so we can really get into where the movement is and what the limitations of our furniture placement are. This is a very basic little mock-up of what a flow chart is. I've created this in Canva. If you're interested in doing this for yourself, just some blocks and shapes with some labels on it. The arrows point to where the flow is. People walk through these spaces in this direction. You know, you do have an awkwardness to it because it's actually off-centered. I know in the images, you're like, the fireplace is in the middle of the room, that's super easy, but the flow means that it's really not, it's actually on the right side. So how do we deal with this? How do we accomplish a comfortable feeling space here that doesn't have a TV over its fireplace that you can actually view, actually use, and still walk through easily? Well, here is the furniture layout I've come up with. I would do a sectional sofa directly across from that. I would do a TV, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, it's bad feng shui to put the back of a sofa to windows, but sometimes that's what you just have to do. Like, not everything is achievable or accomplishable in one home. So I would put the back of the sofa to the windows, do some great drapery there. I don't think glare on the TV is going to be the biggest deal, but of course we'll still do some drapes, which is why I left some space behind the sofa for those drapes to hit. And I've added a chair in here, a rug to centralize the space, and it makes it feel less off-center because there is a natural path of flow through the space. We haven't changed any of that. We just added in the furniture. And here's a view of the furniture layout without any of those lines in it so you can see it a little bit more clearly. I think this simplifies the space. It makes it easy. I would do a TV console here. You know, I always want to see a console that's larger than the TV or longer than the TV above it is. That way we get a good balance. Maybe you do some great sconces on either side of it, and I think it would be really, really beautiful here. I've also added in a round coffee table because in a space like this with a sectional, and that's rather limited because of the walking pathways and access points in this space, you know, you need to have something that's a little bit smaller, and having a square table means you're gonna hit it, you're gonna bump into those corners, especially with the sectional. A round table is a little bit smaller, but gives you the same functionality where you need it. So I think that's a great option. And if you have kids, maybe getting something that's tufted and ottoman of some sort would be wonderful. And you can see there's plenty of space around the sofa for us to add some small side tables, accent tables, and I think that's wonderful. We could add lamps in this space, and you've actually got this really great kind of built-in with the shelves. You could do a bar set up there and still access it with this floor plan. And I think that's special too. You also will be able to see the fireplace. Put some art above it to cover up the, you know, the outlets there from the TV that's supposed to be above it. Like, no, we're not doing that. But I think this layout makes a lot more sense, feels a lot more natural, and will actually allow more functionality in this living room, as where actually, you know what, I'm looking at this picture and I'm seeing there's a balcony off of this, or like a patio, a covered patio. Probably won't even have glare from the sun, and we don't even have to worry about blinds in this space. Oh, love that. I think this is a great living room. It's just a little bit awkward. I know that space seems rather large. Some of you have smaller apartments and homes, and that doesn't mean you can't have have great style, great design in those spaces, which I work with as well. And I provide those types of videos also. As a matter of fact, we've got a couple of spaces here that are a little bit smaller we have to go through. But if you are new here, honey, I got your back. I got you covered. Be sure you hit the subscribe button. Join us. Become a part of the LeChic family. I would absolutely appreciate it, and I would love if you gave this video a like. Okay, this next awkward space, you're looking at this image here and being like, stunning. I know. Well, I mean, the floor is a little bit varied for me. I would have done something different, but I'm not mad at this at any point. This space, the living room, is one of the weirdest I think I've ever seen. And, you know, looking at it, you're like, oh yeah, it looks nice. If you were in this house, you walked through it before you were gonna buy it. Like, isn't that so interesting when you go and tour a house, you're there for like maybe 15 minutes, and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna spend this much money and I'm gonna buy it and live here. And this is the living room you would have, and it's super, super awkward because of the flow of it. Like, this is a prime example of why somebody should book a consultation with me, link in the description box down below, before you purchase something like any home or a new home. I can, of course, do walkthroughs with you virtually, which I think is great, and I can look at upgrades, that sort of thing, because what we would have avoided here is this entire backdoor situation. There's a couple of points we have to make about this. One, it doesn't look good. Okay, it's kind of weird that you have a door and a side light and then you have a window off to the side. Should have been a 3-panel door with, you know, either like a door in the middle and 2 side lights, or should have been a sliding 3-panel door. Maybe it folded and, you know, would open up completely and be out of the way. This right here completely destroys the flow of this living room because we have a door in the middle of it. And on top of it, have a look at this other view where, you know, we've got the beautiful fireplace, but directly across from the fireplace is a hallway, which means we have another blocking point that's like completely ruining the flow of this room. Like, how are you supposed to put furniture in here like this? Okay, this is why you need an interior decorator like me having a look at your space. So like I said, book that one-on-one consultation using the link in the description box down below. And through May 27th, I'm actually offering $50 off of a 30-minute and a 60-minute consultation, either of which you can book for any point in the future so long as it's during this sale period, which ends at midnight on the 28th of May 28th. So that's wonderful. Anyway, this living room and the flow of it, super, super weird. Let's look at the flow chart. Look at this. Look at this flow chart. I mean, it's not a massive living room. It's not small by any means, but that door in the middle of it completely blocks, like, where do we put furniture here? Like, are we just gonna sit like a foot in front of the fireplace on the sofa? Like, it doesn't make sense where you put furniture here. Well, it doesn't make sense to the average person. Obviously, I have all the answers, but that's beside the point. And this takes some creative thinking. Now, anything we do here, if we brought like a L-shaped sectional into it or something like that, is either going to block the doorway to the back or is gonna completely divide the room in half, which this space, it feels good. It feels, you know, nice and spacious, but if you're walking out that hallway, there's gonna be a sofa right in front of you, not comfortable, and it's gonna kind of block a lot of the flow from the dining space into the living space outside, so it's not really good for entertaining. Here is what I would do. Now, this space is super awkward, so we're not just gonna be able to use like 90-degree angles or anything like that. I've got the sofa angled at, you know, off to the side because I think it allows for a natural flow through this space outside to the back door, but it still is allowing us to have a sofa. This is going to be an apartment size sofa. It's going to be something very IKEA-esque, not necessarily bad quality, but just smaller in scale, like an apartment size sofa. And I think that would work well here because you get that space that you need. Like the sofa, you're super limited in what you can do here. I mean, let's be real. This is like honestly, I would have told you to walk away from the house probably, or like at least upgrade that door because it's bad. You know, and if it was like a 3-panel slider, we could have brought the sofa forward and moved that flow behind the sofa to get out, and at least we would have had a little bit more space to work with that way. But this is what we're gonna have to do. The sofa is at an angle. I also went for a round coffee table here. We could go slightly larger. You could even do an ottoman in this space because we don't want those sharp angles taking up any more of the floor space. And it's also a round coffee table will hide a lot of interesting angles. And that's what you do when you have like weird angles in a space. It's like throw some round pieces in, throw a curved piece in because it offsets that. When you have a 90-degree angle next to something that's just like a really weird, awkward angle, it makes it stand out even more. So having the round coffee table is gonna make the angled sofa feel more natural. And then we could do 2 angled chairs either side of the fireplace. And it makes it feel warm, interesting, inviting. Also, having that sofa at an angle is going to make that living room feel feel more open and actually larger. It's actually kind of a trick that a lot of home stagers use. They'll use a smaller scale sofa at an angle and it makes the space feel very big. So I think that's a good trick to use in this living room. And behind the sofa, we could put a cantilevered floor lamp. We could put a potted plant. We can still have great drapes on these doors and windows here. And I would put drapes over that door because I think it's super weird and it would make it just look like a larger window. Plus, you know, like, I mean, you can look outside of this house and see it's like a big hill behind you. So I don't think you're really entertaining all that much out there, but you still need to be able to get out of the door, and putting a sofa in front of it and blocking it off isn't the answer. The next awkward space right here, it looks good. Once again, it's a nice living room. It's a great living room, but the awkwardness comes from the fact that the fireplace is angled towards nothing. Literally, what seating can we put in here? Where can we put a sofa that's going to look at the fireplace? Tell me, because it doesn't make sense to me. We have a walkway, we have a staircase that's open, so the only thing we could do is either put a sofa in front of the walkway and block off the open staircase, which then you're gonna see the back of the sofa through the staircase. Super weird, super, super weird. My opinion is cut your losses on the fireplace. Not get rid of it because it's great, and why would we eliminate a feature that's nice, but you're not gonna see it from the sofa. So it's more of an ambiance type thing. It's more of when you enter the space, we can see, oh, there's a great fireplace there, but you're not gonna see it while you're enjoying the space, which is unfortunate, but sometimes an awkward layout does that for you. And I would have called this out point blank if you had toured this home. If I had seen the floor plan or the model, I would have been like, honey, where's the sofa going? But this is where we are. Now, let me show you the flowchart I've created, because this is basically it. Once again, we're in a similar situation where half of the room is lost because of a walkway. Like, what are you gonna do? Because that probably leads to a primary bedroom. So what are you, just not gonna go in there? I don't think so. Literally lose half of your house. And we have an angled fireplace plus a staircase. And you know, obviously this room is open or leading to something else. So what are we doing here? Once again, I think we have to put a sofa backed up to these windows. Here is the furniture layout I would do. Sofa backed up to the windows. You know, like I said, get something that's really a perfect fit for that spot. It's worth doing. An oval shaped coffee table, because once again, this is a more compact space. You can see I'm avoiding this complete walkway. It's like, just keep it where it is, because otherwise we have to put the chairs against a wall, at which point one of them is going to be right off the foot of the stairs, which nobody wants, and the other is going to be, you know, in the middle of a walkway. So it just doesn't make sense. You wouldn't be able to reach the coffee table. This is the best option I can come up with. I would personally mount a television on this kind of weird, half awkward, kind of not pony wall where the staircase is. And you know, maybe it just needs to be on a mount that pivots or angles or something like that. So we can have it flush mounted to the wall when we want it. And when we're enjoying the space, if we want to pull it out, we can do that also. Maybe some outlet covers, maybe, you know, one of the switches is obviously for the gas fireplace. The other one is for the lights in the hall. That's fine. So that's my perspective. This is what I would do with the living room. And then we can do a really great, well-fitted rug here that makes sense, but I would also avoid it being in that walking way, because you can create a really good sense of flow and division with the placement of a rug and furniture, and this is what we're creating here. So even if you had, you know, kids running all over the place and they're running back and forth, they're chasing each other, they're not gonna be running on the rug, which I like. There's a clear pathway, a clear sense of like, this is the direction we're all headed in with this living room layout. And like I said, the fireplace, it's off to the side. It's an afterthought. You're not gonna be able to see it. I do these two small kind of round tables there because, like I said, having a 90-degree angle next to an awkward angle does not make sense, and it only enhances that awkward angle even more. So round tables in this space I think are great. The chairs, you could do something with a curved back. You could do something that's a little bit more open. I would get them to match the scale of the sofa perfectly, and I think that would be very, very elevated. And then, you know, the fireplace, that can just be a little moment. Maybe we put a potted plant on the other side of it. Maybe we, you know, put a small table with something on it, but maybe it's like a demi-lune table with like a curve to it. And I think that's wonderful. And you also want to think about, what can I get to go underneath the television? Not that you necessarily have to. I mean, there are plenty of TVs, like a smart TV that just needs to have a plug behind it. Electrician can move that plug up the wall and it would be perfect there. This living room is awkward. And actually, when you take out the walking way, it's a very small living room. It's actually smaller than like an apartment size living room. So I think this is a space where you can get very creative and do a beautiful floor plan and layout that would feel very natural. And you know, you could even swap out the sofa and one of the armchairs for a sectional. It would divide the space up a little bit, but maybe that makes the most sense. But it's a beautiful space nonetheless, and you can do anything amazing in an awkward space, or at least I can, which is why, you know, like I said, if you have that awkward space, you just don't know what to do with it. Like the living room is so weird. Maybe it's oblong. Maybe you have, you know, your front doors in the middle of it. You're like, what do I do with the entryway? I have all of the answers for you. Book a consultation with me using the link in the description box down below. While we're on the journey of getting your living room layout situated, these awkward spaces, and be sure you share with me, what other awkward spaces do you have in your home that you would like to see a video like this all about? But while we're on the journey of fixing them, let's avoid them looking tacky like the things in this video right here. Be sure you check it out because I'd hate to see you make any of these mistakes that I'm gonna have to fix later, and I will see you over there.